Hello and welcome to Socialism Survival Podcast. My name is Alex. Just relax and enjoy this incredible journey into socialism experience. It is podcast number 1, and in this hour I will introduce you to what is socialism about and to something important about my personal experience. Something that, in fact, may have impact on America's future. Before continuing, I want to assure you that this podcast is solely my idea. I do not belong or paid by any party. I do not fulfill anyone's order. Now, back to socialism talk. It is something that is coming right here in America. It is something that will impact your everyday life. So in coming subjects, I will talk about many things concerning socialism, taking from real life experience. I will talk about Soviet regime, its gulag, death camps for millions of Soviet people. I will talk about Soviet socialistic propaganda, education, economy, morality, or lack of it, culture, religious freedom, or its non-existence, healthcare, food shortages, freedom of press, free elections, freedom of speech, nuclear catastrophe, and much more, and how to survive socialism threats in everyday life. I will need your input. So I will provide you in the future with a phone number and email address where you can send me your suggestions and tell me what subjects would be more important for you to hear. What you would like to hear first. Also, if you are a socialism survivor, either from former Soviet Union or from any other socialist/communist countries, and you have unique and interesting story, please contact me and I will help you to share your story with the world. As it is my first socialism survival podcast, I'd like to set some simple but important rules. Of course, there are rules. When you call me or write me, I'd like you to tell me your first name, where you're from, your former country, if it's applicable. You may add your political or religious affiliation if you want. Please, no curses, no verbal attacks. It is not permitted on this podcast. No advertisements, please, or any web links. It will not be included and it will be not voiced in this podcast. On our website, I will post all the rules, and you will click and you will see it. So enough about it. I promise I will not blow your ears with reading rules every podcast. Well, I may just refer sometimes to this first podcast to remind some people who don't know it, who didn't hear this podcast. Of course, I know there will be an opposition from all sorts of socialists, communists, Marxists, Leninists, and other ists. Therefore, here are the rules for radicals to behave properly. Now, on socialism itself. Sometimes Americans, they ask me if it would be good to have maybe some other form of American socialism, where poor and unprivileged will be taken care of. Or maybe it is possible to have partial socialism with all benefits of capitalist society. Okay, let me tell you. It is like if you put some food in crocodile's mouth while hoping that he'll be nice to you too and will not bite your hand. There is absolutely no basis for such idealistic suggestion unless you are completely bored with your American freedom, and if you're happy to lose it. Communist leaders and ideologists are fishing for such people, and they are happy to build their bright utopian future at your expense, and at the expense of your freedom, which you will lose, of course. My ancestors and I, we lived through various stages of Soviet socialism. First, it was Lenin socialism, then Stalin's, then Khrushchev's, Brezhnev's, Andropov's, Gorbachev's. I don't have much to say about others, short term and less significant, in my opinion, like Malenko, Chernenko. Although each of them had his own experimental socialism application, one thing they all are responsible is millions of innocent lives. Mikhail Gorbachev can be viewed separately for his end results in Soviet Union collapse. Still, there were different intentions and purpose in his famous perestroika, because it literally means rebuilding. Rebuilding of what? The same old Soviet socialism, not its destruction. In future podcasts, I'll tell you more about that period of history and my experience of that time. Right now, I'm focused on three questions that may have helped you to find this podcast, actually. What is the socialism? How it survived for so long despite its bad fame. And third, how to survive ever mutating socialism and what we can learn from its survivors. First and most important thing you need to know when dealing with socialists slash communists that they are liars. Their father is Satan, and ideology, Soviet socialistic or American socialistic, doesn't matter. Their ideology comes from hell. Oh, I'm talking about hell, yes. And I will explain you why. It maybe sounds too bold for you, but if you will not root deeply in this fact, then you will eventually compromise. And any compromise will lead to your defeat and loss of freedom. Period. And your chances to survive it will be near zero. Its ultimate goal, communism, is like a very dangerous, contagious infection. Only few will be cured. Most of the infected won't, because it affects both brain and heart. It captures one's thoughts and feelings. There is a good way to test for that infection. If you cringe inside and get irritated hearing about the Bible or when it is quoted, then you are most likely infected. I represent the third generation of Gulag survivors who were persecuted for their faith by Soviet regime. My conclusions are based on bare facts and experience. Bible was always the vital part of my life. It was confiscated by KGB officers who conducted a search in our home for any anti-Soviet literature. Listen, you may or may not be a Bible believer, but in my opinion, every intellectually developed person can be considered such only if he or she is familiar with the book and respects it. Yeah, I said respect, even if you don't believe in it. Atheism is in the foundation of socialistic society. Rebellion against God is a great exploit for them, while at the same time they are trying to convince everybody that God doesn't exist. how you can fight with someone who doesn't exist. You think you think of it just as mere stupidity, or like me, you see a big lie there. Well, as it is written in the Bible, their hero, Lucifer or Satan, is the father of all lies and therefore their spiritual father. It is he who has infected them with the conviction that the perfect utopian communist society can be built here on earth. And they don't need God for that. How to get there? They asked their father. Organize community of my believers. Teach them to perform masonry work, and they will build my kingdom on earth. Whoever disagrees with you, organize them in re education camps. Whoever argues with you, mock them publicly. Whoever tries to organize different community, destroy them morally, mentally, and physically when possible. That is the order they had before and have now against you, American people. For them, Americans, you had been free for too long. Sometimes I hear or read about different conspiracy theories. Some people, even in survival community, when they hear word conspiracy, they make fun of it, like if it is some hyper-inflated ideas that actually aren't based on reality. Let me tell you, in Soviet education, we were taught that without conspiracy, Lenin would not win his revolution. Tsarist police were constantly searching for conspirative apartments, where they arrested those red Bolshevik revolutionaries. According to English dictionary, conspiracy is an evil, unlawful, treacherous, or surreptitious plan formulated in secret by two or more persons. Of course, according to this description, Lenin's plans for socialist revolution were conspiracy. Lenin's brother was involved in conspiracy to kill Russian Tsar, which didn't succeed. These are all factual events. Therefore, if conspiracy is based on facts, then it is nothing else but the secret reality known only to those who conspired. So let's just separate conspiracy theories from conspiracy facts, whether known or unknown to the majority of country's population. In this podcast, I may discuss some conspiracy theories too, to see if there are facts to support it. But most of the time, I will talk about real and existing conspiracies and how it will affect you if are carried through. You are too naive if you think that all conspiracies are just nonsense, baloney, and you stick your head in the sand like ostrich, thinking if you do just that, then for sure nobody conspired to kick you behind. Believe me, I have no time to waste it for a nonsense, and will not take your time for that too. In fact, let me share with you some positive conspiracies, as not all of them were wrong. According to Soviet laws, it was illegal to gather in somebody's home for prayer or Bible study, and it was treated as conspiracy to overthrow Soviet regime. When two or three of us were secretly listening to the Voice of America or Radio Liberty, it was conspiracy. When dozens of Baptist believers literally lived underground for years because they assembled primitive press and printed Bibles, religious hymnals, and poetry books. It also was conspiracy against Soviet system. Maybe Ronald Reagan has helped to break down Soviet Union, but without these conspiracies I have described, it would not be possible to crash down powerful Soviet political machine and its Communist Party. And if the laws in this country will be hijacked by socialists, if constitution will be changed against you and your freedoms to achieve their purpose, if your loved ones will be put to death just because they wanted to be free or exercised the free speech, I'm pretty sure many of you will turn to that kind of righteous conspiracy. You will either bow down to the beast of utopian socialism, communism, or will do anything you can in order for you and your family to survive its oppression. That's why I'm here, speaking to you, because my purpose is to help you to get prepared for socialism survival if one morning you will wake up and hear in your radio, on TV, on the streets, something like this.
United forever in friendship and labor, our mighty republics will ever endure. The great Soviet Union will live through the ages, the dream of a people, their fortress secure. Long live our Soviet motherland, built by the people's mighty hand. Long live her people, united and free, strong in a friendship tried by fire. Long may our crimson flag inspire, shining in glory for all men to see. Through days dark and stormy, while great Lenin led us, our eyes saw the bright sun of freedom above. And Stalin, our leader, with faith in the people, inspired us to build the land that we love.
Alright, coming back to our subject. For many decades, socialism was advancing step by step in America. While in late 70th and 80th, we dreamed of becoming free by moving to the States or any other non-communist country, little we knew how much of socialism America already embraced. Or I can say how many principles and freedoms American people gave up or compromised for sugar-coated communists' lies. Because of that morality, family values, education, political and religious honesty, as well as many other values substantially declined. US Senate became more like Soviet communist elite, who always were above the masses, enjoying privileges, taking away from the simple citizens, but paid by their work. Many churches became comedy clubs. Many pastors are just businessmen and entertainers who are picking your pockets while you laugh. Here is why socialism survived and grabbed so much power in the USA, as well as many other countries. Because good conservative men and women failed to become community organizers, allowing left to come and fill the void. Now there is still a chance. Maybe the last one. I see and I hear some Americans are protesting and speaking out against socialistic plans of current administration, but these voices are scattered and can be easily suppressed by those who hate your freedom to speak. To win America back from socialistic power grab, conservative people need to organize. We need thousands, or better, millions of selfless volunteers who will speak to those caught by Marxist propaganda. People are looking now for government handouts, and I understand them. They are in need. What if our freedom loving people will volunteer to help them and turn their minds away from socialism? Well, yeah, that's just a suggestion. And yes, it will cost your time and money, of course, but it's time to understand. If you will not do it for the right cause, then your time and money eventually will be stolen from you and used for the socialism advancement. Yes, freedom still can win, but the price is high. And it is up to you, American people. Are you willing to pay for your freedom, your constitution, your morality to win? Or you will live pretending like nothing is happening until one day all your savings will be confiscated and used for the unrighteous cause, until you will be put in labor camps made for greedy rich like you? Well, that's how they think about you. And that is the future they prepare for you. I know you may think I exaggerate their plans, but the same happened in the USSR and Nazi Germany. Even after being arrested, many Soviet innocent people believed that the truth about their innocence will be discovered and they will be released. Many European Jews on their way to death camps still believed that Nazis will soon let them go home. Never happened. America, it's time to act now before it's too late. Thank you for listening to Socialism Survival Podcast. I'm looking forward to talk to you again. For contacts and other information about this podcast, please visit www.socialismsurvival.com. Again, www.socialismsurvival.com. May God bless you and keep you safe in this difficult time.